My name is Sean Strickler, Division President for Pulte Group in Tampa and West Florida. And I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I'm joined today by Irene Rickus, CEO for the Children's Home Network in Tampa. Irene, how are you?
Real good. Glad to be here, Sean.
Good. Thanks for joining us. First of all, Irene and I want to say thank you to our trade partners and suppliers for your incredible generosity over the years, over the last 4 years, in our Building to Make Lives Better charity golf outing. We hope that your team and your family is healthy and safe. This year, as several of you know, was to be our 5th annual tournament. It's been an incredible run, and your generous donations have made a significant impact in the lives of so many kids and families within the Tampa Bay area and Central Florida. Unfortunately, given the status of COVID, we feel the safest thing to do is to cancel the tournament this year and wait until next year. But that doesn't mean that we're going to give up on CHN. Over the previous 4 years, thanks to you, we've raised almost $500,000, and we're bound and determined to make this another outstanding year. So I asked Irene to join me today and share a little bit about CHN and what they do and how they impact the lives of underprivileged kids in and around Central Florida. Irene, 2020 has been a roller coaster year for us in the home building. There's been lots of ups and lots of downs. What's going on at CHN this year?
Oh, my heavens. Nothing that we could have ever anticipated, Sean. You know, we have 66 kids on our campus in Tampa, and the ages range from infant newborns, which are usually the children of the parents that are in foster care, so these, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. And so when we were notified that the kids would not be going back to school and we had to do basically homeschooling, thank the Lord for Pulte Learning Center. We made that the hub of our learning initiative. And so every day we had children scheduled to go in there and work with their teachers, use the computers, reading room, and it became a lifesaver for us. And so I want to remind your trade partners that the Pulte Learning Center, which is just a phenomenal service that we offer the children, only exists because of the Pulte Golf Tournament. It supports that center virtually 100%. And so we were thrilled to have that opportunity to use it, and it's in full force now. I'll talk about it a little bit more later on.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks. It brings incredible pride every time I see the Pulte logo at the entry to the Pulte Learning Center. And it's neat to have something that is so tangible right there at CHN. So I mentioned earlier that we're not giving up this year. So we're not going to have a golf tournament, but that doesn't mean we're not going to raise a lot of money. So the money that we would have spent to rent out Avila Country Club and to throw the banquet and to support the prizes, Pulte Group's going to donate that directly to CHN.
Thank you.
So obviously that's several thousands of dollars. And I know that several of our trade partners have also expressed an interest. You've caught wind that we may cancel the tournament, and you've expressed interest in donating, continuing forward with your donation. And we're super thankful for that. Of course, if you've already donated and you don't want to move forward with your donation, that's fine too. We can send your check back to you. I do want to let you know that if you do move forward with your donation, we have set a complimentary foursome at Southern Hills Golf Plantation, which is up in Brooksville. It's a Pete Dye designed golf course. It's been rated one of the top golf courses in the U.S. by Golf Digest. So if you move forward, we will include a complimentary foursome for your team, and certainly it would make a great day to get out and about and reward some of your teammates. So Irene, can you share with us a little bit? I mentioned earlier we've raised almost $500,000 over the previous 4 years, and you had mentioned the Pulte Learning Center. How are the funds used in addition to the Pulte Learning Center?
The funds are used to hire staff as well to support the children in their educational and personal social adjustments. And it also helps to some of the educational outings that we offer. We focus primarily on the funds on education, but it involves not only the center itself, but out of the center, the kids take field trips to museums. They went to the art show downtown, didn't like that so much. but they go to the Glazier Museum, and so we've been able to use the funds for enrichment. So when I talk about education, Sean, I'm talking about the full gamut that a school would offer to a child. We offer to the children through the Pulte Learning Center. So if they need school supplies, uniforms, books, we use those funds for all those enrichment activities. It has made the world of difference. I do want to share with the trade partners that we are the only residential program in this central part of Florida that has a service like this. And when bureaucrats and legislators come out to see our facility, they are extremely impressed. And don't forget, and for those that were there last year, they saw the facility, and I guess you'll see it later on. But it looks very modern, very welcoming. It doesn't look like, a poor kid's learning center. It's just top of the line, and we are just so proud. The other part I wanted to share is because of the funds that your golf tournament has raised, we've been able to leverage those funds with the school system in Hillsborough County. And so when we let them know that we have certain resources available, but we need them to help fill in the gaps, they're very happy to do that because we're not asking them to support it 100%. So I don't know the dollar value, but if we take what has been raised almost $500,000 over the year, we've gotten another allocation from the school to help support that. So they're aware of the Pulte Learning Center. And then we've been able to approach some private foundations and let them know we have this center going, how it's supported, and how we could use a bit more of their funds to make up that difference. So it's really, when I think about it, it's an enriching opportunity for children that come from extreme poverty. Most of the children, 70% have been exposed to sexual abuse. About half have been homeless. All of them have been physically and emotionally abused. So when they have a luxury like this, they have never had that in their life. Maybe for our children, it wouldn't be quite so special, but for the children that are on our campus, it's an awesome experience. They don't argue about going to the Learning Center. They don't, other than the art show downtown, they didn't like that so much.
Well, that's awesome. So I know we've been impacted pretty significantly by COVID, and it's changed our operations dramatically and how we sell and build homes. As I mentioned before, it's been a roller coaster year. We've had downs and we've had ups. But how have you been specifically impacted by COVID? Are you, obviously, I would think that would be adding a lot of expenses to your operations?
Far more than we ever calculated.
Yeah.
Since our staff have to work 24 hours a day and we're taking new children in, we have to, the children have to have a place to live. So we, can't easily put a moratorium in place. We had to offer staff a stipend to come in during the high-risk time. And we were all on stay-at-home orders. We gave staff a stipend to come in and help protect the children because, obviously it was essential. And I have to tell you that the staff stepped up, and it cost us far more than we anticipated, but it was worth it. The staff stepped up and did not miss a shift, and every kid was cared for. What's a particular challenge to us during COVID that we knew we were going to face it, we didn't think we would face it for quite so long, is taking new children in, we run the risk of infecting the whole campus. Right. And what's happened in Miami is that the campuses that are so large that are infected, staff walk out, they're afraid. And there's people that are high risk and live with high risk folks. And so it puts the whole campus in crisis. And so we were very careful about taking new children in, having testing done, having the children wear masks and be isolated until the testing results came back. COVID's been particularly difficult on the children. When the numbers started dropping, we began allowing the children to go to parks and the beach, and we found that it was very hard to isolate them. They were wandering off. They're little. Now they're teenagers and they want to have some cool time. And so they were wandering off, and so we had to pull back from some of that. But when the numbers began to increase, again, we're in a protective mode. We have to protect the children. And we have children living in our campus that are medically compromised. We have one little boy who has had multiple surgeries. He's only 8 years old, and he's touch and go. We have another boy who has a serious genetic disorder. If COVID comes to our campus, those children are in grave trouble. Yep. So when the numbers began increasing, we put the kids back on lockdown, and we hated to do that because we knew what that meant. But safety is number one. That's why they're with us. So we began to, and we used some of the Pulte funds for this as well. We began to rent things like the big water slide, the big blow up thing.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so we keep that, it was $1,000 a month, and we kept that for 1 month. Then we got a different kind of blow up, bouncy something or other. And we've been trying to do as many activities as possible on the campus. But I don't know if I can jump into this now, Sean, but
Yeah.
you know, I always believe during challenging times, there's always a silver lining. You always find good things. And something very unusual happened that none of us ever anticipated. When the kids began staying home in March from school, by far it was a crisis for all of us. It was a crisis for parents who had to work and keep their kids at home. It was certainly a crisis for us with 66 kids on the campus, home 24 hours. And we began, you know, educating the children on campus through the Pulte Learning Center and our gymnasium. And what we found is children who are extremely resistant to going to school, resistant to schoolwork, failing their classes, and I have a great story about this, failing their classes, you know, truant, causing fights, did much better by learning on our campus. And so we were really stunned by it. Their grades improved. We had kids that were failing that ended up passing their class at the end of the semester. And so a lesson we, you know, reflected upon in the summer is that there are many children on our campus who have so many social adjustment issues that they do better in an isolated, kind of nurturing center than the big school, you know, walking around with thousands of kids and all these different teachers. You know, that's really difficult for them to maneuver when they're not, you know, confident, stable, and they use really aggression to, you know, make their life work. Right. So we found there was such a great improvement. We are amazingly, I can't believe this, but we chose this year, for this school year, or at least the first semester, to keep the children on our campus. Again, with the Pulte Learning Center being the hub, we hired a quasi-retired principal to run it. And it's, I know, awesome. It's amazing, right? Lord help us, I hope we get the funds, but yeah. to support this. But we're teaching the kids at school. And then we expect that some of the kids, when this settles down, some of the kids will go back to public school. But we're going to present to the board of directors, keeping our kids, the majority of kids on our campus, and having them learn there. They are excelling. And I have a fabulous story to share with you about that. Yeah, it's one story.
That's great. Well, I mean, kids are resilient, right? And just hearing personally some of the stories that you deal with there and some of the trials and tribulations that the kids go through, what you do to get them back on their feet and really wired to get back into society is really commendable. So that's awesome. So in addition to the donations that you can give for towards the tournament, we will be holding a online raffle and a golf ball drop, which I know you did a couple of weeks ago at a different fundraising event, which is really cool. So I would encourage everybody to stay on. At the end of this video, we're going to share a promotional video about Children's Home Network, and we're also going to provide the dates and times and how you can participate in some of these online virtual raffles that we'll be doing. So trade partners, I want to thank you so much for your donations and your support. And not only with the Children's Home Network, but also everything you do for Pulte to make us a successful business. We couldn't do it without you. You know, $500,000 is a lot of money. And it's, I can tell you, I don't think there's a division across Pulte, and we build in 22 states, that has quite the partnership that we do with Children's Home Network. So, and it's because of you that we're able to make it happen. So Irene, any other parting words before we turn it over to the promotional video?
Well, I would just like to thank you, Sean, your team, your phenomenal team, and your extremely generous, kind trade partners. We never imagined, honestly, from the first year, we never imagined anything like this. And it has been overwhelming, but it's been an incredible blessing to us. And I wish you could see every kid and the difference. I wish you could see their report cards.
Yeah.
But what's so key, and I want to share it with everybody, is that we are turning lives around. There is no doubt we were turning children who are extremely vulnerable, we're turning their lives around and giving them a chance at success. Maybe to be like our own children, give them that chance. And without Pulte and its partners, I don't think we would be half as effective. So thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you for your kindness.
Thanks, Irene. Thanks for everything you do for the kids and for Children's Home Network. And Irene and I wanted to share this via video rather than an email. So we thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll stay on and watch the rest of the video. And we look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.